You guys just came from Mad Cool, right?
Yeah.
I heard you guys speaking about that on stage because barely slept like 45 minutes maybe.
It's been an insane 24 hours. We played Barcelona 2 nights ago. We drove
the Apollo, right?
Yeah,
I love that venue.
From 8 hours to get to Mad Cool. We arrived in time to see Pearl Jam play their entire set, and then after that we had to play, and then go right from the show to the airport to fly to Lisbon, and get here to do this show. So it's been a pretty crazy kind of 48 hours.
And have you seen any bands at the festival? Because I heard you guys were like, I heard you actually, Brian, said that you guys were walking around after the show.
I mean, like, the only reason we're not walking around watching bands right now is because we're talking to you.
So I apologize. Not watching bands, you know. This will be better than live shows.
Yeah, right?
We're making art right now. This is barely an interview even.
A lot of bands playing that we love. I mean, today, Queens of the Stone Age, The National, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, like Yola Tango right now. I mean, it's just like, it's incredible.
Sorry, this is actually the end of a very late-ass night for us. We played Mad Cool Festival last night at 2:30 a.m. Got right off stage, packed up all our shit, went right to the airport, flew right here in Lisbon, and came to this festival in order to make it here for y'all tonight.
Speaking of bands we love, this show, other than being like crazy interviews and stuff, or very modern interviews, as our new tagline says, plugging our own stuff that you're already watching, but still. We only do artists we love. So, and I saw you guys. I was already a fan, but I saw you guys the first time. I've seen you a bunch of times, and I saw you guys back at Primavera in 2010, I believe.
Oh yeah.
That was an amazing show. Like they don't even have that stage anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's a food court now.
It's a food court now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So. The first Japandroids and now tacos, I suppose.
Shout out to Primavera.
Shout out Primavera. And I saw you guys again at Primavera in 2013, maybe 2012.
That's right.
13.
Yeah.
And another awesome show. Saw you guys here again, and saw you guys last year at Correia.
Yeah, which was amazing. Amazing.
A big venue, right? Like that slope is amazing.
We've played it twice, and both times, the first time we played, it was pouring rain, and we played in the tent.
Oh, okay.
And the next time we played last year, it was beautiful weather, and we played on the main stage, and I think there were kind of a lot of mellow bands before us, so we maybe were the first band of the day that really kind of rock it out, and people just let go, and it was great. It was great.
Deal with the singing so intensely, like throughout the tours, like because sometimes it might be kind of straining your voices, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was definitely that was an issue for a long time.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean,
I hope I'm not touching on any.
No.
The scoop. This isn't journalism, by the way.
No, but I mean, one of the biggest things was we just had a very loud stage volume. You know, like I mean, there's all those amplifiers. I'm hitting the drums really hard. You know, so we both just be screaming our heads off just to hear our own voices. And we've actually, become a bit more professional as time goes on. And now we are using like in-ear monitors, which actually helps a lot. So. That used to be a problem a lot of the times where Brian, especially because he sings more than I do, he would lose his voice sometimes because you're just screaming, every night for however many nights in a row, and your voice just can't handle that. But now, because we have the in-ear monitors, it definitely helps with being able to hear yourself, which makes you be able to sing a little bit less hard, so you're not like screaming, you're kind of just singing loudly and projecting. So like as we become a bit more professional, it's getting a little easier on our voices and allows us to play more shows in a row without having to worry about losing our voices and all that.
So basically, like what you're saying is that like you guys had so much volume that it went over the monitors and you couldn't hear the monitors.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, that's okay. There you go. Okay, okay. And by the way, how I noticed you play a Gibson very similar to mine, even though mine is an Epiphone. Okay. I have a Les Paul, but it's like the same. Mine is the Black Beauty with the thing. It's not as good as yours because yours is a Gibson, but it's very close. It's very good. Mine has the 3 humbuckers just because it's
nice Keith Richards style.
Yeah.
That's Keith Richards would play.
And Robert Fripp style, by the way.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
But that's why I got my guitar, basically. But do you feel like, because you guys are a two-piece, that guitar basically fills up the sound that you need to have melodically? This is a serious question, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think since we very first started, we've always wanted the band to be just the two of us. But I think we've always aspired to be bands that are like to be a band that's really big and really loud and really intense. And I think when there's only two people, you always struggle to figure out how do you do that with two people. And I think every year that we tour, and we've got a great crew who care a lot about our sound and like how we sound to the audience. I think we've just slowly figured out little things that make us just sound that much bigger without really changing anything that we do. We just get up there and we rock. And I think I used to play Fender guitars.
Okay.
And then I switched to the
That's
Les
true,
Paul.
actually. I just recalled. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, no disrespect to Fender, shout out to Fender, but when you're rocking a Les Paul, it sounds pretty fucking good, pretty big. So
Vibrates, doesn't it? Like just roar.
yeah, so I think like once we kind of made that switch, there's kind of no going back now. Like it's, I think everyone agrees, it sounds really, really big and really full, and I think. As you see us, you'll continue to see new gear and new, configurations of how we play. Always just trying to be like bigger and better version of ourselves.
Japandroids from Canada. Do you think there's any chance there's a Candroids from Japan? Welcome to the true nature of this show, because this is barely journalism. This is just, sorry to put you guys on the spot. We're just kind of stupid.
Dave wants to take that one.
You're too tired to be put on the spot. I apologize. I think that at least it's a good motive, isn't it? Like, Candroids from Japan should exist.
All right, shout out to Candroids.
Candroids. To the wild heart of life. Why not exactly in the wild heart of life?
I think, that concept of being near the wild heart of life, it speaks a little more to how we feel and how I think most people feel. I think it's something that you're striving for, and maybe it's something that you're always going to strive for, So I think that's sort of how we felt about that phrase. I mean, it comes from a quote in a James Joyce novel, and I think when Brian read that and then suggested that as the title of a song, and later we decided to make it the title of the album, it just sort of seemed to sum up what the band's all about, and beyond that, sort of what people in general are, a lot of people can relate to that feeling, I think.
It's unattainable then. It's unattainable.
I don't know if it's unattainable, but I think it's something people are always striving for.
Yeah, I think that like whatever the wild heart of life is, everyone is chasing it, and you might get near to it, but I think that I mean, one thing that keeps people, you know, just living and dreaming and reaching for something is that they're never quite there. So, I mean, anyone who says they're there is probably full of shit. And most people who are, I think if you ask, they're like, they've got some sort of dream, they've got some sort of aspirations, and they're chasing it, and they're near to it, but you never quite get there. And if you do, as soon as you do, you reach for something further. So you're always near to it, but you're never quite there.
What's an arc of bar? I don't know.
Neither do we.
Oh,
We just
you
made
know.
it up.
Oh, really? Oh,
Just
it's an awesome song, but I don't know what it is. Not that it's important. I just could be something specific. I have no idea.
Well, it goes back to, I mean, in the simplest terms, it goes back to, you imagine when you walk into a bar, most bars are very straight and long. And the particular bar I'm talking about, they don't have one of those bars. It's a really big curve. It's an arc of bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Then it is a thing.
In its most basic terms, that's what it means.
That's what it means.
So
It could be like an arc of a storyline or something.
well, I mean, on its
Storyline of bars.
Yeah, in its very basic terms, that's what it means. But I think it can take on a new meaning once you start listening to the song and listening to the lyrics, and you know.
For sure. The show is called Made of Things, and it's based on the idea that you guys have dedicated yourselves as artists to art, which is a struggle sometimes, because something happened to you, or you heard something, or read something, or had some sort of experience that made you go like, I want to do this forever. Did you guys have that, and what was it? If so.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, so Brian and I met when we were in university, and we were both, you know, very big music fans, but I think when we were in university and started seeing not just like touring bands from other parts of the world and other parts of the country, but when we started seeing more local bands in Victoria where we lived, who were making music that really meant a lot to us, and they were people that we could relate to and people we would see on the bus. I think that was definitely the moment for me when I decided, like, I want to do this. I want to try and make music, you know. And you know, I think that's sort of where the seed for the band was planted, was seeing bands in Victoria back in those days when we were in university, bands like Run Chico Run and Atlas Strategic and Frog Eyes, like all these bands that were like just playing the shitty local bar, you know, to like 20 people or 50 people, but making music that really resonated with both of us and made us feel something, you know? I mean, that was a really important moment for both of us, was seeing bands like that, you know, who were just normal people, you know, who weren't necessarily like amazingly talented musicians or something like that or whatever. They were just people who had something to say and were putting their heart into it, you know, and that's where it all began for us, I think.
Okay. What about you, Brian? The same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's still going on too. I mean, like, we're at a music festival. Like, I think tonight I'll go watch Queens of the Stone Age, and I'll just be like, the moment they're done, it just makes me want to go play a show, get on stage and play, you know, like, so. I think
happens to me all the time as well. Like every show, like I want to go through that.
There's like how it started, but it's like a very ongoing thing. You know, we saw Pearl Jam play last night. You know, 2 weeks ago in London, we saw Jack White play. You know, a few weeks before that. And when you see these great artists perform, it's just like, it's a never-ending cycle of just like, fuck, that was so awesome. Like, it just makes you want to get out there and go play a show right away. Like right away. It's
so
like,
you're grateful that you're doing this all the time, really.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah, who wouldn't be? Right.
So.
By the way, before we wrap this up, just would you have any food restrictions? By the way, just curious, out of curiosity, because of the thing that happened to you.
No.
Like, so you're basically all right and just. Yeah.
I'm all good.
All good.
But thank you for asking.
That's we like to check up on the people we like. So there you go. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much.
All right.
Cheers, as if you were British. Cheers. Thanks. This was lovely. Oh, my phone.
Yeah, let's do it.
I've been meaning to have you guys on the show years ago.
Cool, okay,
Thank you so much, you guys.
There you go.
Take care. Enjoy the rest of the festival.
You as well.
Bye.
See you around, guys.
Obrigado.